In this project, we aim to design a novel feature selection pipeline. You may ask, why a feature selection pipeline? Feature selection involves the reduction of the dimensionality of the input dataset. With a great dimensionality, the computational time increases exponentially in the end models. Certain models are also susceptible to the curse of high dimensionality. We want a feature selection method that is interpretable. Existing feature selection methods such as PCA extract features and combine them to form features not part of the original dataset, making it uninterpretable. End users should know when a feature is selected and why. Automated feature selection methods should be domain robust and able to select relevant features without the input of subject matter experts. Hence, in our project, we aim to build a robust and interpretable feature selection pipeline that can remove many features from a dataset without a significant drop in performance. Redundant features can be removed from the dataset. These features tend to have mutual information with other features. To prevent a drop in performance, we need to retain features that are relevant for the prediction of the class variable. We need to look beyond mere co-occurrences and focus on causal relationships. In our design pipeline, we first aim to remove irrelevant features and then remove redundant features from our dataset to achieve our minimal optimal feature set. Relevant features are selected through causality-based feature selection, while redundancy minimization is carried out through principal feature analysis. We will first delve deeper into causality-based feature selection. In causality-based feature selection, we look for causal features. This is to enhance interpretability, as features are not chosen based on mere co-occurrences but instead capture causal relationships with the target variable. Causal features are also robust, as causal relationships represent underlying mechanisms. The idea behind causality-based feature selection is demonstrated here. Let's say we have a data set with features and a class variable lung cancer is shown. To identify causal features, we need to understand underlying relationships. The parent features of the class variable are features which cause the class variable. The child features of the class variable are features which are a result of the class variable being present. Lastly, we identify spouse features, which are other features other than the class variable that can cause the child features. Spouse features are important because it helps us to identify if child features are present due to existence of the class variable or other misleading factors. Now we identify the causal feature set, which consists of all the parents, children, and spouse features. Now we move on to examine principal feature analysis to remove redundant variables. To remove the redundant variables, we first need to know the number of redundant variables in the data set. This is done through the variation inflation factor process. This process lets us determine the number of clusters and core features by looking at the multi-collinearity present within a dataset. We then obtain the non-redundant features through clustering. The information from the VIF is input into the clustering algorithm to identify which clusters are similar to one another and select a representative feature set. Clustering is done in the eigenvector space instead of the feature space through singular value decomposition. There are two groups of clustering used: partitioning and hierarchical. Partitioning cluster focuses on associating samples to a defined cluster, which can be random or a sample from the dataset. The second type of clustering method is hierarchical clustering, where the samples are clustered to form a tree-like structure, aka a hierarchy. After similar features are clustered together, we need to choose a representative feature as the non-redundant feature in the automated feature selection pipeline. Cosine similarity or correlation is used as a similarity criterion to measure the similarity between the cluster center and each feature. Before we move on to the results, let's examine the evaluation datasets used for the pipeline. We have selected 4 datasets that differ in terms of domain, dimensionality, and class balance to ensure our pipeline is robust. This video demonstrates the ease of the use of the pipeline and the different functionalities. Here we use the mask dataset. We load the dataset and we observe there are 167 original features. Our dataset is also class imbalanced. As you can see, there's a majority class present. All we need to do is separate the X variable, the Y variable, and the labels of the class. And then we are ready to run our pipeline. We've chosen the methods FBET, which is a causality-based method, and PAM means, and selected our threshold as 5. As you can see, the process is very fast. Our first iteration out of 5 is already done. So we can see feature 136 and 15 are both assigned to cluster 2, but 136 is chosen as it has a higher similarity value, as given by the y-axis. The pipeline also runs evaluations on multiple models to check how well our pipeline does and its reliability. We are now on to split 2. We see different features chosen each time due to the splits, the stratified splits that we used. Every graph generated is interpretable and interactive. We also see interpretability from the variation inflation factor through the form of a table. Each row represents which feature has been removed. And now we are on to our last split of the data set. As you can see, our original data set was large with 167 features, yet the process is quick, running already 5 times. Our last iteration is done, and we are able to see that we can select our selected features, and we have only chosen 25 out of the 166 original feature set. The performance in terms of weighted F1 score of the various pipeline methods are plotted below. The F1 score is used over accuracy due to the presence of class imbalance. We see that there's a slight drop in performance as compared to the original dataset, but this is expected due to the information loss. However, this drop is much smaller for high-dimensional datasets and hence is valuable. The results are also consistent through different degrees of class imbalance. To conclude, we have obtained the minimal optimal feature set with a reduction in computational time while retaining good performance. The pipeline is interpretable and users are able to interact with the visualizations provided at each stage, explaining the removal of features. The pipeline is robust, with good performance achieved for most datasets in differing domains with differing dimensionalities and class balance levels. Thank you.